Imagine if you could have a consistent flow of work week in, week out, and never have to experience the scramble of trying to find leads. Does that seem like a bit of a dream? I can guarantee it's not. It's actually pretty simple. Welcome to the Tradie Success Academy podcast. My name's Alice Boyd and I'm the sales coach at the Academy. In today's podcast, I'm going to be talking about the importance of consistency when it comes to client outreach. I'll be giving you 3 really simple but very powerful tips to help you win more high-value clients. Now, what I mean by client outreach, I'm referring specifically to business-to-business sales. So partnering with a property manager, a real estate agent, it could be an insurance builder, anyone in the business space so that you can have that consistent flow of leads coming through your door every week. A massive frustration that I see with so many of our members when they're brand new to the Academy is they say to me, I've tried reaching out and I've made 1 million cold calls, or I went around and introduced myself to so many businesses, or I emailed 150 builders or whatever it might be, and I got nothing back. I haven't won any work from it, which is completely understandable why that's so frustrating. What I really want to focus on today is the importance of consistency when it comes to following up and checking in with potential clients and existing clients. Because if a digital marketing agency called you, which a lot of you would have had those cold calls in the past, if they call you and within 5 minutes of you talking to them, they convert you into a client, to be honest, they're a pretty good salesperson, but usually that's not the case. It would take maybe multiple attempts at actually building that rapport with you, building that relationship. It could be several emails. They might call you several times, maybe meet you face to face, depending on the agency. There's a lot that goes into it rather than just, winning you over straight away. To make this super clear, I want to give you a bit of a real life example. Let's just say you have a little bit of a crush on your barista where you get your morning coffee. The first time you go in there, you probably wouldn't ask for the barista's hand in marriage because that would be completely psycho. Instead, you might, introduce yourself slowly after a few coffee orders, ask them about their day, see, what's been going on in their world. You start to build somewhat of a friendship before, maybe in time you start to flirt and then you make your move, okay? Try to think about business to business sales the same way. This is a marathon, not a sprint. So putting all your eggs in one basket and going, pretty aggressively with the sales tactics for one introduction or one phone call probably won't get you really far. Instead, building a system where you can be really consistent with your outreach and build that rapport, maybe over time, you'll have a lot more success. First of all, diversify your outreach methods. Every individual person is different and therefore likes to be dealt with in different ways. So take myself, for example. If you say something in an email, I don't respond to that very well because I get too many of them and I'll just skip past it. Whereas if someone calls me on the phone, to me, I can get straight to the point. Yes, no, let's just do this, or let's not. Some people really like a text message because it's non-interruptive. But when you're doing cold outreach, you don't actually know the person's personal preference. Right? So being able to try different areas and different outreach methods is really, really strong. It also means that it gives you the opportunity to find your personal strength. Some people will find that they're really confident on the phone and that can be really great for their time as well. Of course, you can smash through 20 cold calls a lot easier than you can driving around and doing cold drop-ins face-to-face in 20 different businesses. In saying that, being able to build rapport with someone face-to-face comes a lot more natural for a lot of people rather than, say, making that cold call where they have to be super short and snappy and sometimes it doesn't go too well, which can damage your confidence. Being able to, approach different businesses, different people across all of these different outreach methods is really important because you might have different strengths and weaknesses and the individual person likes to be dealt with in a different way. So I'd really recommend that you try all different methods to see what individual people respond best to. The second tip that I want to give you is to develop a system that works for you rather than you working for it. Okay, it's really, really difficult in sales or anything really, to remember every single follow-up. Okay, if you send an email on Monday, having to then send a follow-up 3 days later, you won't remember that. You've got 1,000 other things to worry about in business. Here in the Academy, what we help our members do is set up a really easy to follow system where rather than relying on your memory or relying on that, I guess, creative energy of, what do I do next? I called on Monday. How should I follow up again? How should I check in? The system tells you what to do and it tells you when to do it, so that I guess it takes that pressure off, that emotional stress that comes from something that is quite overwhelming and maybe a little bit difficult. Being able to follow that system for cold outreach, so clients that you would like to partner with, but you don't yet have a relationship with, and also your existing clients, your really high value businesses that you already work with, having that system where you're consistently checking in, you're consistently following up in that really methodical approach, it's an absolute goldmine when it comes to working with people that are going to help you grow and scale your business. One of our members that I've worked closely with, Dukes, he's an absolute legend. He's in Sydney. He's a painter. He said to me, this system has been absolutely huge for the growth of his business. Being able to check in with new potential clients, but also nurture those relationships with all of his existing clients, it's been an absolute game changer for him. And my third and final tip for today is practice makes perfect. You need to cut yourself a little bit of slack. People become really frustrated when they try a new skill, they try something, and you're really putting yourself out there. It's quite intimidating. They try this new thing and maybe they don't get the best results because they don't have a follow-up procedure in place, which is completely fair enough. If you were to think back to your apprenticeship, you were learning so many new skills, which was probably a really overwhelming time. Learning anything new, no one's going to be good at it overnight. And it's the same sort of thing when it comes to client outreach. It's a really scary, intimidating skill. And if you don't know how to approach it and you don't know what works, you're not going to get very far. New skills do take time to perfect. And if you're only, say, making some cold outreach maybe once every 3 months, once a year, you might go really hard for 2 weeks and then never again. Then that lack of consistency means you basically have to relearn all of those skills all over again, which is really difficult to do. So by implementing a really strict routine where you're following this system consistently, you're absolutely going to get a lot better results, purely because practice makes perfect and you're going to become a lot more confident, which is everything in sales. So when you find yourself a little bit frustrated with maybe some of your existing clients, or you don't know how to tackle winning new clients, I'd really advise, first of all, give yourself a bit of a break. It is difficult. It is a little bit hard to be the absolute master of sales overnight. No one's expecting that. But with consistency and with practice, you're going to be able to improve this skill, which is probably really uncomfortable for you. I always try to say to people, you've got to make it easy for yourself by following a system and taking away that, I guess, emotional stress from it. We're here to help you with that, but if you're not able to, I guess, rip that Band-Aid off and just give it a go and try to keep the consistency up, you're gonna have to relearn those skills all over again, which, yeah, it's a nightmare. It's not fun. No one likes to relearn something for a 100th time. I hope these small tips have given you a little bit of confidence to give it a go, try cold outreach, and keep that consistency up. The coaches here at the Academy are here to help you to develop your sales system so that it goes from a pretty daunting experience to something that becomes second nature. I hope you've enjoyed this podcast and learned a few small skills. Stay tuned for the next episode on the Tradie Success Academy podcast.